I'm going to try this video again. So this one's on Sega Saturn Magazine, and it's issue 23, September 1997. And something I found really interesting is it's £4.50, and if you watch the CMVG magazine that I did, that magazine was only like £1.50, I believe. So yeah, quite a difference there. This is quite expensive for the day, I suppose. So yeah, so Marvel Superheroes is on the cover. And I'll skip all this because this just, telling you what's in the magazine. Okay, so first off, this is Saturn memory upgrade revealed. So this is just going on about the 4 meg cartridge that Sega was releasing in Japan. And it's basically tying it in with Capcom, who's going to support it and release 4 exclusive games, at least 4 exclusive games for the time that they release this news article, because I think one of them's Marvel Superheroes, but I'm sure that turned out to be, I'm sure that was released on the PS1. But yeah, it's going on about how that it's going to support an extra 4 megs of RAM to make the games better. But I don't believe, because I remember reading a news article in a later issue of this magazine, and it was saying how Sega was kind of umming and ahhing whether to release the 4 meg cartridge in Europe, because they didn't really see it as financially viable. But I do believe a 4 meg cart was released with what was that game? Well, I'm thinking of I can't remember what game it was now. King of Fighters 95, but I don't think that was like a multi. I don't think that was like a cartridge that you can use with any game. I think that might not have been 4 megs, and I think if it did come with a cart in Europe, which I'm pretty sure it did, it was a I can't even say it, priority cartridge, which meant you could only use it with that game. So this is something I found funny. Basically, it's just an advert, and over here in the UK we have a drink, and it's called Vimto. And back in the day, they used to do this advertising thing on the TV and in magazines like this one. And it used to have these really funny poems by a character called Purple Ronnie. And basically, it's just an advertising drive for the drink. But I thought this was pretty funny. Vinto is a smashing drink, so why not have a slurp? It's full of fizzy bubbles that will make your bottom burp. That is class. You just don't get advertisements like that anymore. So on this page you've got a competition for a House of the Dead t-shirt, and this is just a small article going on about Atlantis, The Lost Tales, which is basically kind of like a Myst style game, and well, just an adventure game, but it turned out to be a bit average, I believe. So here you've got the HMV charts. And speak of the devil, King of Fighters 95, so this would have been before. Yeah, that must have come with a priority cartridge. So yeah, so there you got Fighters Mega Mix, Max TT, Shining the Holy Ark, this camera won't focus, Sega Bomberman, Tomb Raider and Dark Savior there at the bottom when they should be further up. That was the HMV charts, by the way. The Readers charts, Fighters Mega Mix, Tomb Raider, Sega Rally, Wipeout, don't even know why that's on there. Knights, Die Hard Arcade, which is overrated. Destruction Derby, I've always wanted to play that game. Here we've got the catalogues. And this one's going on about a joint Sega and game Fighters Mega Mix competition. More catalogue adverts, and this one's a bit of a feature on Silhouette Mirage, which is I'm not sure whether it was a 2D platformer or 2D shoot 'em up, but it's one game that I've always wanted, but the cost of the game is just silly money, and I ain't paying that. This camera just will not focus. Focus! No, doesn't want to. This one's upgrade kart. This one is going on about Formula 1 karts. So yeah, if you ever get a chance to pick that up on the Sega Saturn, don't bother because it's rubbish. Save your money. So this one's going about Sega Touring Car Championship. Now I've got this game, and to be honest, I know some people can get along with this game, and fair play to them, if you can, but I can't. This is one of those games that Sega Saturn Magazine featured this game quite heavily a number of times, and the kind of hype machine at the time was really building for this game. And not only did this magazine kind of was portraying it possibly to be the next Sega Rally beta, or possibly another Sega Rally in the making, really. And the hype for this game by readers, Saturn owners, and this magazine was really kind of big. So it finally got released, and it was like, well, that was a letdown. Basically, the problem with the game, I think there wasn't so much said about the graphics. Okay, the graphics weren't on a par with Sega Rally. The graphics are slightly rough, but I've played the game, and the graphics kind of add to this kind of rough, windswept speed, kind of give you this kind of speedy look to the game, which kind of works. The problem with the game though is the controls are just rubbish, and the handling or the mechanics of the cars, the way they handle to your inputs, just rubbish. It's way off. Basically, there's a problem. The handling is really what's the word I'm looking for? Twitchy. There's problems with oversteer and understeer, and even if you use the 3D analog pad and use the analog controller, which does give you a more tactile feel to the handling, it doesn't cure it, because the problem at the end of the day is with the coding of the game. So yeah, pretty big letdown that game was. So here we've got another feature on Grandia. Now this game didn't get a European or US release. Pretty big shame really, because anyone who's seen this game, especially the Saturn version of it, will know that this console could easily do gorgeous looking 3D, and this game just proves that time and time again. But it just didn't get a release over in Europe or the US. But a couple of years later it did get ported to the PlayStation, and yeah, it got translated and brought to Europe and the States. So, but it's just a shame that it didn't get Saturn release over here. So this one's just going on about I think it's Konami. Basically it's just a load of games that those bringing out, all shooters, not really big into shooters. Okay, so this one's on Croc, Legend of the Gobos. It always makes me wonder why they use Gobos as the last, kind of name in this, because over here in the UK, basically if you used to spit on the floor, say, there's two things you could say, well there's three things you could say. Oh, that person spat on the floor, or you could say that person flobbed on the floor, or you could say that person gobbed on the floor. So when gobos, that just reminds me of someone gobbing on the floor. Basically, it's just strange that they used it. Anyway, yeah, this game's all right, but it's a bit average. It's better when you get with the start of the game's just plain Jane, but further through you go, the better it is. Here's another Purple Ronnie poem. When they see my lunchbox, the girls in school go mad, 'cause they know I'll share my Vimto. I'm such a smashing lad. Purple Ronnie. So a bit more on Croc. I think it was quite a big game when it was released, but you play it now and it's a bit average. And that's just going on about the Golden Joystick Awards, which I just find completely pointless, to be honest with you. This is people writing in, and always a hilarious read, to be honest. Going on back issues. Okay, this is a big feature on Marvel superheroes, and the best way to play this game really is having your Saturn 60 Hz switched. I mean, in the US you're fine, but in Europe you really want a 60 Hz switched on and play this game at 60 Hz, but you also want one of those 4 meg carts, because this game takes advantage. I think it uses an extra 3 megs altogether. Pardon me. And you go into the options, and in the options you switch allow to use an extra 3 megs, and as you can see, if this will focus, the sprites on the screen are absolutely massive. I mean, you can have 2 massive sprites, each like 2 massive characters. Like here, I think that's Juggernaut, and I forget who that is. 2 massive characters on the screen, and they just move about the screen like, just no problem at all. I mean, up here you've got the Hulk, and you can have the Hulk and Juggernaut on screen, and they look gorgeous, really detailed, and no slowdown whatsoever. It's just I do believe this game came out on the PS1, but that's pretty crippled port compared to the PlayStation game. And like I said, this game is gorgeous. It is my actual favourite game, fighting game on this console, and I really do like it. X-Men used to be my favourite game, but this one just knocks the hell out of that game, really. So as you can see, they did quite a big spread on this. You just can't, for 2D fighting games, I just don't think there's, I don't care what game you play in, but you just can't get better than this game on the Saturn. So here's another feature on Resident Evil. Now, I hated Resident Evil back in the day. One of the things I hated about Resident Evil is, when you go into another room and you get that picture of the door opening and then closing. I always found that strange, because I thought, why? Why would they put that into the game? It breaks the kind of flow of the game, and it always used to annoy me that just because you walked into another room, you used to have that door, you had to wait for it to open and then close. Obviously, I didn't realise that they was doing that to help the loading. Actually, this isn't a big feature; it's just 2 pages. But yeah, I did play it later on in life on the Saturn, and bloody well loved it. So it just goes to show that it's worth going back to those games that you didn't like when you were younger, and then playing them now when you're older, because you never know, you might actually like them now, even though you didn't like them, years ago. So this is going on about Thunder Force. I know some people really like their shooters, and I do like the odd shooter here and there, even though I'm not a massive fan of the genre. But some of these shooters that are on the Saturn and the Dreamcast, that people kind of put up on a pedestal, I really think they're overrated. I really do. And they go for silly money as well, and they're just not that great, really, to be honest. I don't care what people say, they just no, they just ain't. They ain't worth the money, and that people are charging for them, and I just don't think they're as awesome as everyone makes them out to be. That's my opinion, anyway. So big in Japan and Waku Waku 7. This game looks waku waku, and I would like to play it. Basically, I'm sure I've seen this on eBay now. It looks really, really nice though. See if I can focus. This camera does not want to focus. Maybe I'll put my finger there. Maybe it'll focus. No. What is going on? Why won't it focus? No, it doesn't want to do it really. If I pull it out a bit, you might be able to get an idea of what it looks like. I think it's a beat 'em up. It looks really nice though. Mind you, Japan always got some really good games that we just didn't get over here. So this is an interview with the developers of House of the Dead. I still haven't read this. I still haven't played the game. This game goes for silly money as well. It's a shame about a lot of these light gun games. You just can't enjoy them like you used to. Obviously, of course, you can't use light guns anymore on HD TVs. But I've always wondered where if you bought like a big piece of glass and you just put that in front of the TV, would that make him work, or would it still not work? Who knows? I ain't gonna go out and buy a big slab of glass just to find out anyway. But I do think, you can't get the enjoyment out of these games without using a light gun. And to be honest, I don't like the Sega Saturn light gun either. The one that Sega brought out, it's just, I don't know what it is about that game, that light gun, but I don't like it. Okay, so this one's Rumble in the Bronx. Can you guess what it is? Shall I tell you? Can you see it? That's Bronx. I think out of all the 3D fighting games on the Saturn, when it comes to it, as much as I really like Fighters Mega Hex, I think Last Bronx is my favourite. I remember the last time I played it and I really, really, really enjoyed the game. And like I said, again, I'm not I'm not super massive into fighting games. But what I did notice is that it's having those weapons like the nunchucks and I don't know what you call them, the sticks and stuff like that. And it just makes the game flow. I mean, some of the moves just flow. I don't know how to explain it, but you just pull off these moves and it just works. It just flow. The moves just flow, and the characters just seem to pull off the moves effortlessly. Can't even say it. Effort. I'm not even going to say it. Okay, effortlessly. Okay, got it in the end. And it really does feel like proper moves, kung fu moves or karate moves or whatever. It's just a great game. I really, really strongly advise people to pick this game up, and it doesn't cost that much either. I mean, the graphics ain't all that, but the gameplay is just solid. So this is an issue that came with a CD. I think I've got all the CDs bar one. So what have we got in there? Sega Rally, Sonic 3D. Kind of like that Sonic 3D. What else have we got in there? Die Hard Arcade, which is overrated. Well, it's got videos of Dragon Force, Wipeout 2097, which is a bloody good game, Duke Nukem, Sega Touring Cars, and Enemy Zero. Okay, this is a review of Williams Arcade's greatest hits. I think Defender is the only game that I'd want to play, but Well, we've got Defender 2, Robotron, 2084, Joust, Sinister, Bubbles, and I think there's quite a few more, and it scored a respectable 80%. It's your typical like old school fare, really. So they did a review on Resident Evil, and again, I highly recommend getting this game for the system. If you like Resident Evil, it's just as good as the PlayStation version, if not better. And it scored a respectable 94%. Focus, damn it. Here's a funny one, Warcraft 2, and it scored another respectable 91%. No, so it's just funny to see that that's, well, it's not World of Warcraft, but it's Warcraft. Discworld 2. Focus. Oh, nearly out of time, guys. And this is just tips and stuff.